Okay guys, so welcome back to episode 5 of Teen Muscle Radio, and today I'm joined with another star guest. We have got Jack Thorburn, and he is going to be basically again describing his journey to the natural bodybuilding stage. And just a quick pointer, I don't know Jack massively well, so this is going to be really exciting for me to learn more about Jack, where he comes from and what he does, and how he has achieved such great success so far. So before I say anything more, I'm going to let Jack introduce himself and give you a bit more information about him. So go ahead, Jack.
Alright, thanks for that introduction, AJ. Just briefly, my name's Jack Thorburn from Swansea in Wales, South Wales. 22 years old. Just currently doing a Masters in Strength and Conditioning. Went to in Cardiff Metropolitan University, but that's studying from at home, which is the Master's degree. But I also went to Cardiff Met for my undergrad, doing sport and exercise science. So that's about it, really. Yeah.
And how long have you been in the bodybuilding sort of scene? How many competitive seasons have you had so far?
Actual bodybuilding, this is my first season of properly bodybuilding. This season I've done 3 shows. Most recent one being the BNBF on the weekend, past Sunday. But I've done 3. They were all 3 different federations. The first was the PCA Welsh, which I did the classic bodybuilding class in. The second one was the NABA, which I did the juniors.
Interesting.
And then, last weekend, BNBF juniors as well.
Interesting. Okay. I didn't even know that you'd done more than the BNBF. Obviously, I'd seen shots of you competing, but to me that almost looked like an MPA stage. So that's interesting for me to know.
Okay.
So that's cool. Wicked. So first topic, as per usual, Jack, is I'd really like to know how it all initially started from you. So, how old are you currently?
I'm 22.
22 years old. Okay. So, what age was it that you got into the gym? When did you start lifting? Literally first time.
Yeah, I'd probably say it was about 15 years old. I think that's pretty similar with quite a lot of people. It was I was always quite a big boy when I was younger, but it was quite endomorphic big, so I was always quite a chunky sort of boy, So naturally you sort of get a reputation for being sort of the bigger person, so I thought, you try and keep that up by going to the gym, because obviously I think 15 was the oldest. You had to be that, to be 15 to go to the gym in my secondary school. They recently opened a new facility there, so I was really keen to get in there. I think it was 15 before they allowed you to touch any of the weights. Obviously, you could do any of the cardio from a younger age, but Also, I played rugby. I loved rugby when I was younger, so naturally it was just I also went for a lot more strength development and stuff like that, So
cool.
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. So would you say that you initially started lifting weights and going to the gym to improve your performance at rugby? Did you have any physique related goals straight away, or was it more for sport?
There was no sort of physique-related goals. It was quite a lot to do with rugby, but also, like I mentioned earlier, when I was younger, I was quite egotistical, and I was quite keen to sort of keep up a reputation, sort of as the big boy or whatever. As sad as that sounds, that's all in the past now. So, my outlook on everything is so much different now, but. So when I was younger, I sort of tried to keep that up. So I was in there, putting the pin at the bottom of the leg extension, repping it for one rep just to show everyone. But along with that, there was also a rugby element as well, because I remember at the gym that I was going to, the one in the school, there was no bench press, or it was all sort of really basic, just quite a lot of like life fitness machine stuff.
Okay, cool.
So, but when I was about 15, my dad bought me a bench press, and we set it up down in the garage. And every Wednesday it was bench day, and I can remember we used to bang out about 10 sets. So he just used to stand there spotting me, and at the time I just failed to get into the Swansea rugby team squad. I just missed out, and this one guy picked me towards it, and he was quite a big sort of boy. So I remember my dad, as motivation, he used to stand over me on the bench press and scream this boy's name at me when I was doing it. So maybe that's where I get my sort of motivation and my intensity from these days. But I can remember him shouting his name at me when I was bench pressing. So yeah, that's sort of my first sort of memory of proper training.
Wow.
Yeah, just a basic bench press. I've still got it now, but.
I was going to ask that. I was going to ask if you'd still got it. That's really awesome.
You could barely fit your back on the pad. It was so thin. I think it's a York.
York
one.
Everyone has a York. I wanted a York so badly. I never got one though. I was always wanting one, looking in the Argos catalogue, but no, I never got one.
The plates were horrendous. Yeah, they weren't very big. I didn't have the York ones. They were these really clangy, metally ones.
Yeah.
But I was quite like a dungeon sort of atmosphere, so I enjoyed it really. So.
Cool. So you mentioned obviously only bench being the predominant workout on a certain day.
Yeah.
Now, did you initially start like training your entire body? What would a normal week look like in the gym? Would you go every day, and how would you train like initially? Like I'm talking like first couple of months. What did it look like?
I think when I first started going, I was following this Australian. I don't know how I came across him. This Australian bloke. His name was Ruben Barja or something like that.
Interesting. Never heard of him.
Yeah, these days I don't hear anything about him, but for some reason I came across his website and I was mad for it, and so I followed quite a lot of his stuff.
Yeah.
So it was quite bro at the time, so it was sort of individual body parts every day. But also my dad had a personal trainer at the time, so I sort of got quite a bit of input through him. Just following sort of what he did, similar sort of exercises. But it was quite sort of like a bro split from the start. So pretty basic sort of exercise, and obviously I was restricted with the sort of gym equipment I had at the time in the school gym. So it was very machine based. I think the dumbbells only went up to about 20 kilos, 25 kilos at the most. So yeah.
So you've developed like an awesome physique, and I'm sure that in the picture of this podcast we'll have a picture of your physique so people can get an idea of actually like how well developed you are currently.
Right.
So I'd like to know whether these initial like sessions, these like first few months of training, did you notice quite considerable change in the way that you looked and felt like right off the bat, or did it come a bit slower? Like how was your response to weight training?
Well, like I mentioned at the start, I consider myself very endomorphic, so I feel I put on muscle very easily, but it's just getting rid of the fat's the main problem. But so I say, I was always quite big naturally, just as a frame, being so endomorphic, but so I felt I put muscle on quite quickly. That's maybe why I got so addicted to the gym, probably, because I noticed gains so quickly, as opposed to if I hadn't, maybe I would have been a bit disheartened by it all. But no, I definitely feel I put considerable size on from the start.
Yeah, cool. Did you notice that more? Like, were you taking pictures of your physique? Were you looking in the mirror? Were you just filling out clothes more? What was like the initial, or did strength go up really, really fast? Like, how did you notice that you're like, wow, man, I am actually making some really good progress here. I'm going to continue doing this. What was the things that you're seeing or doing?
Maybe it was never pictures, never, because to be honest, when I was younger, I was a really shy character. I don't want to delve too far into it, but of being quite a chunky sort of boy, I got quite a lot of stick when I was younger, which was probably what drove me to the gym really, but.
Same boat.
Quite different to a lot of people, because a lot of people got bullied for being skinny, so they went to the gym. Whereas I didn't go to the gym because I got bullied. It was more I dieted down because I got a bit of stick for being the chunky sort of boy, especially by like girls and stuff like that. So that's another motivator for going to the gym with a lot of people, for the girls. But yeah, I think. Yeah, it was rugby related, but also, definitely sort of a confidence thing as well, because that's where I felt most confident, because it was where I was excelling the most, that and the rugby field, those two,
And it improved confidence straight out of the bat. That's really good. That's good to take note. Like, obviously, teenagers watching this and stuff like that, if they're struggling with confidence,
definitely, it's definitely a big thing. Yeah,
maybe the gym is the answer, and I know I can relate on that a lot. Like, I was definitely a chunkier kid when I was younger. I was actually rubbish at rugby though, so I got even more stick for that, because I was a chunky kid that should be good at rugby,
but not.
But not, and didn't have much going for it at the time. So. Yeah, I mean, that's how I initially got into the gym, so I can relate hard on that, Jack. So, yeah, really good point. So not to hang about on training too much, I'd like to... Obviously, a lot of the guys and girls that listen to this are potentially in their starting phase of whether they're entering the gym and how they're structuring everything. So, what a lot of them really are interested in, I noticed this online, is... what people did at the start with regards to nutrition, and the other chats that I've had with the guys previously have been quite sort of, they've opened my mind to the fact that everyone starts with a somewhat ridiculous eating pattern, so either crazily high calorie or just like really weird eating patterns that like would involve foods that we'd never experienced before or wouldn't put into our normal diet now. So what did your, like, over the first years or two when you were really sort of getting into the gym, building strength and muscle, what would a daily diet look like for you? Was it structured? Like, what did it look like?
Well, I think, as I mentioned before, with my dad having a personal trainer, that helped out quite a lot, because I did ask him for input and stuff like that, because he was like quite a family friend. Also at the time is when I sort of started to like trim down a bit from the sort of fat boy look, because I think it was, when I was 15, crazily I gave up chocolate.
Okay.
Yeah, completely. I used to walk home from school every day, and there's a Spar on my road, and I used to get two chocolate bars. I couldn't help myself. Every day, 2 chocolate bars, and by the time I'd eat them, by the time I get home, and then wash them down with 2 pints of chocolate milkshake.
Wow.
I used to be a chocoholic, and but then one day, it was at Christmas time actually, I opened my advent calendar, nailed the whole lot, and then said, right, that's it. I'm done. And because I tried to give up numerous times because I was bored of the fat boy comments and stuff like that. So, but then I actually did just give it up, and it's been 7 years since then. You might say that's a bit crazy, but to be honest, after that long, you just don't really miss saying that all of my protein has to be some sort of chocolate flavoured. So just to cure the sort of sweet tooth.
Just to keep it there.
Nice. Yeah, and I'm still sort of making like chocolate protein ice cream and stuff like that.
Nice.
So it all helps to cure the cravings. Yeah.
So was your initial phase, obviously you were a chunkier kid, like, was your initial phase when you were starting in the gym, was it like almost like a fat loss phase? And would you say you got into the gym and immediately started losing weight as opposed to gaining it?
I think my parents helped quite a lot, because they've always pushed really good nutrition on me.
Great.
They never let me sort of eat crap, basically. Yeah. It would always... The only time I'd ever sort of get a chance to eat the rubbish would be if I was by myself. So
is that why you ate it before you got home?
Yeah, or when I was on the way to school, if they gave me money, I'd get like a sausage roll or pasty or something like that. But apart from that, meals at home were always really good meals. Breakfast, for some reason, from a young age, breakfast was always pushed upon me as the sort of main meal. So I'd nail porridge.
Good man.
Yeah, all the time. And saying that's the one thing I miss the most during prep is oats. Yeah, that's the one thing. Yeah. But yeah, no, I think so like a combination of my parents and the input from the personal trainer. It wasn't sort of a weight loss diet or a gaining sort of diet. It was just
medium.
Just sort of like healthy sort of eating, really.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So when you got to like a body weight you were comfortable at, did you find out about bulking or like going up in weight to gain muscle? Did you ever have a phase where you maybe found it? Because I think I had a phase where I did a lot of dieting to get to a weight that I was comfortable at, and then I found out about bulking and I went a bit balls to the wall with it, and I ended up just being the chunky kid again, but with a bit more muscle. So did you ever transition into like a bulking phase? Did you ever gain weight and like with a purpose or not? Because you've obviously put on a lot of muscle, so you must have.
Yeah, I think the first time I ever sort of put together a structured diet to sort of gain mass was when I went away to boarding school at college, where that's when I properly got into sort of bodybuilding and training. I met this boy there, and he was a bodybuilder, and he picked me up and asked me to be his training partner because he made sure a bit of potential in me, saw how hard I trained. And then that's when I started to sort of put together a proper sort of gaining diet. And at the time, I was 16 and I was about 90 kilos. So I was fairly decently sized for my age. And so that was typical. It was quite a bro diet then, really. It was obviously being in a boarding school, you had to 3 of the meals were provided.
Okay.
But I was eating my own meals as well. So I'd go to the gym there at 6 o'clock, but I'd wake up at about 5 and have I had a hand blender when I was younger, and so I'd put together a morning shake of protein powder, oats, peanut butter, and blueberries, and blend it all up at 5 o'clock in the morning in a boarding house. So you can imagine everyone loved me, being in a boarding house of 40 boys with a blender at 5 o'clock in the morning. But no, so just have that, and then train 6 o'clock. Then go over to the dining hall, and I wouldn't even have to give him the canteen. They knew what I wanted because it was the same thing every day. It was about, I think, it was a bowl of porridge, again, more oats, peanut butter again. So that, as you can tell, I'm addicted to those two still to this day. So it'd be those two, and then scrambled egg and beans, same thing every day, really. Yeah, and then Uncle Ben's rice at break then in the microwave, so chicken and rice. Then the same thing again at lunch. So there's basically consistency of the same meals every day. At a young age, that was sort of 16, So lunch then was jacket potato, beans and cheese every day again. And then the only thing that changed was dinner, but dinner at the boarding school was horrific. Because we were the sort of eldest in the school, we went to dinner last, so often you would have thought we'd get the best stuff, but often we got the dregs. So it was quite often it was like hot dogs and stuff like that. So numerous times I stormed out in a bit of a strop and ended up just going to the little town then and just purchasing something there.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah.
Interesting. So, quick question on that: would you say that boarding school helped you with structure and eating patterns and getting, it would.
Yeah, definitely. Especially, and like a discipline as well. Definitely. But yeah, structure-wise, because obviously you're just getting a routine, and it is quite disciplined there. Like you have to be back in at a certain time. You have to do this, do that. Well. And also just like the way, you for that. But saying that, at the time, I did have a rat tail in my hair, which was about that long, because all I wanted to be was a Maori rugby player when I was younger. At the time, I grew a rat tail and had to hide it in my shirt, so I had to tuck it in down the back there. So, but a lot has changed hairstyles since then. So, yeah.
Rebellious, right? So basically, I want to there's so much good stuff there, and a lot of people will take away really, really positive stuff from that. And you've obviously gone through a good phase in terms of being a teenager and being a young person, building muscle, boarding school, etc. Very different background to anyone I've spoken to before. So what would be a couple or your main top tip in terms of what you'd say to a teenager who's listening to this and really wanting to gain some muscle and potentially compete in bodybuilding in the future? What would you say to them, looking back on obviously what you've been through?
Well, good quality food, because obviously when I was growing up and sort of that age, sort of about 16 or whatever, there was nothing that obviously, if it fits your macros, is quite sort of a big topic now. Yeah. At the time, there was no such thing. Mm-hmm. So all I knew of was obviously like I said, oats, jacket potato, rice. They're like staple bodybuilding meals, but I had no idea at the time that they were. Just that's all I knew really. Mm. So just make sure you're getting the quality food in, but obviously, you can let yourself have a treat here and there, But I think quality food grows quality muscle. I think that is a big thing.
Okay, really. Just being more aware of making decent choices and potentially tracking macros at some point. But I think you've shown that. Another thing that they can take away just from listening and applying is the fact that you've been able to build a lot of muscle through just living like a young person. You've gone through that phase where you've just you've involved yourself in the daily meals that they've been having at the boarding school.
Trust me, being in a boarding school wasn't exactly facilitating the whole sort of building muscle process.
Sure.
The food they had there wasn't great at all.
Yeah.
Okay. It could have been a lot better, especially protein sources and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Useful. Those the chicken when it used to come out was horrendous. The scrambled egg was the powdered scrambled egg.
Oh,
man. So the quality there wasn't great, but I did the best I could with it, So.
Sure.
And so I did make considerable gains there, really, to be honest, because a lot of my focus was putting on size when I was there. So
cool.
Yeah.
Decent. Very good. So, moving on. So Jack has competed in bodybuilding. He's done his first season this year. So what time was it that you realised about bodybuilding? You found out about bodybuilding. What made you find out about it? Was it magazines, a TV? How did you realise that bodybuilding was a thing?
Yeah, I mentioned it briefly earlier. When I first arrived at college, one of the first boys I started really speaking to and got on with really well, he was a competitive bodybuilder at the time. I think he was competing when he was about 17.
Sure.
He was a very big boy for his age, and instantly we started sort of going to the gym together. I can remember within the first week of being there, we had a leg session, and I think that's why I love training legs so much now, because I can remember we the gym I went to London College. That was the college I went to. So I don't know if anyone wants to look that up.
Yeah, sure.
But they can look at, if they go on Facebook and search for Legends Gym, they'll see the state on the gym there. It is a dungeon, and that's honestly, it's a dungeon. Considering it's a private school, the gym is it's basically a cave. That's what it is.
Wow.
And the squat rack is basically a cage. It's just 4 poles, and I think the first leg session I had with this boy, we went in there, we squatted, I think, about 10 sets. On the last one, we just repped out till we couldn't stand and failed. And then from that, we went straight onto the leg press and did exactly the same thing on leg press. And all I can remember, bear in mind, this is probably the first time I'd squatted. I'd never squatted before in my life, because obviously being in the school gym before, there was no squat rack. The only thing they had was one of those Life Fitness leg presses, which you can basically stack with one leg. But so we hit this sled leg press, and we did some mad drop set. I can't remember. And all I can remember is just my legs shaking uncontrollably. And I think that's where I got addicted to training then. But and then from there, I think through him, I found out about Flex magazine. I think that's evident with a lot of the other interviewees. They've all said about Flex magazine. I have a huge collection, because I can remember my mum used to, every time I came home from boarding school, she'd have the new edition ready for me, and I'd just read it cover to cover. So I had a huge collection. And what I used to do is cut all the pictures out and put them up on the wall, and also say if I was training a certain body part that day, I'd always have a collection of at least 10 flexes in my room in delivery. And if I was training, say, arms, I'd open up all 10 of the magazines I had in my room and lay them out on the best arms sort of motivation page. And then I just sit there at 5 o'clock whilst nailing my shake before the gym, looking at all the different arm routines and all that, getting a bit of inspiration for the session, So
cool. Yeah, I think I read Flex, I read things like that, and it definitely gives you a wide perspective on bodybuilding. But at that point, I thought those guys were natural. I thought that was achievable, natural, and things like that. So that brings me on to my next question. Obviously, you've competed in the BNBF, which is a drug-tested federation. So how did you find out about natural bodybuilding and the opportunities to compete as a drug-free athlete? Because I've heard you mention NABA and things like that, which obviously aren't drug-tested. So did you know about BNBF and things like that? And how did you find out, basically?
The first time, obviously I've always known that it has been natural bodybuilding. I think I used to follow a bodybuilder, Aaron Curtis, Australian. I used to follow him quite a lot, and obviously he's natural, so I used to follow him. So that's when I first sort of saw that there was a scope for natural bodybuilding.
I see.
And also another one, Justin Figueroa. I think he's another Australian. He's got incredible shape for natural. But competition-wise, the first time I sort of heard about it over here was through, I know you're friends with him, Harry Johnson. Because I went to university with him. He's a year below me in
Was he
Cardiff.
competing at the time that you knew him or not?
I didn't really know him. That's when I started to get to know him, because the gym I used to train at in Cardiff, when he was prepping, he'd pop into that gym now, a session. I'm not sure whether he just went to show off in that gym, but he'll probably watch this now. But yeah, shout out to him. So he was sort of. And another one who trained at that gym, his name's Martin Rowlands. He's
I know.
Do you know him? Yeah, he's quite a bit older than us, but he's a nice guy as well. Yeah, so those two were the first sort of guys I that sort of got me in, switched on to natural bodybuilding over here, especially the BNBF fed, so.
Cool. So, how did you basically plan out your first preparations for a show? So, what sort of time scale did you know? Like, did you look at dates? More importantly, did you go to any shows beforehand and think, yeah, I want to do this one next year? Like, did you go to the BNBF Welsh like the year before or anything like that? And then how did you plan ahead?
Well, basically, about 2 years ago was the first time I properly dieted. For some reason, I wanted to get summer ready, so I went sort of 0 carbs. I was doing sort of chicken and veg every meal, and I found out that I actually sort of leaned out really well and looked fairly good for it. So at the time, I was in second year of university, I think.
Yeah.
And I'd always been the chunky boy. So for the first time, I dieted down and thought, maybe I could do some sort of bodybuilding.
Okay.
And then at the time, at the gym I was training at was U-Fit in Cardiff. These bodybuilding coaches approached me and said basically that they thought I might have sort of some potential, and they'd like to start working with me. Unfortunately, basically within a couple of weeks of that happening, I suffered a rotator cuff injury.
Oh, no.
I basically put off. I said to them, I've got this injury. I thought it was only going to take about a month to sort out. So I said, I'll get back to you when it sorted itself out.
Yeah, okay.
About a year and a half down the line, I was still suffering from it, and I still hadn't contacted them. But then last summer again, I dieted down just to get holiday ready again.
Sure.
And realised, that even with the injury, I can still work around it and still look relatively decent for it.
Yeah, sure.
So I said, stop wasting your time. And I got back in contact with the bodybuilding coaches. It's a company called Empower Bodybuilding.
Okay,
yeah. Based down in South Wales as well, in Pontypridd. So I got back in contact with them, and they said, right, let's start working together.
Great.
So we set out sort of like a plan of what we wanted to do.
Okay.
And they're affiliated with the PCA Federation.
Sure.
Yeah. So they run the Welsh leg of it. So they said, okay, well, we'll get, obviously, if it's their show, they said we'll get you ready for that. So that was what we set our goals on. But that was in October of last year,
Okay.
And that show was April 30th. So basically, we set our eyes on that from October. That's when we planned it out. Because I never planned to do any other competitions, so that was the only one we were looking at.
Okay.
So I had a really good off season working with them. They sort of structure all of my diet. I love my nutrition. I do a lot of research into nutrition in my spare time, but I let them take the sort of responsibility because they're very experienced. They've coached quite a few sort of top athletes, so I put a lot of trust in them. So I let them do my diet all over the off season. Worked up to about 5,500 calories.
Wow.
So I somehow managed to maintain abs as well, which I think goes. But I did keep cardio to 4 times a week.
So you did keep a lot of activity in.
I kept it in. So if it even hindered my gains, but I put on 10 kilos, and then once I cut down to be show ready, I think it worked out to about 5 kilos. So I put on about 5 kilos of lean mass, which is fairly substantial.
That's fairly incredible, And I'm not even in a position to say that's incorrect because you were shredded when you stepped on stage. So you've put on a lot of tissue. That's really interesting.
I did through that rotator cuff injury that I mentioned. I did lose quite a lot.
So you potentially gained some
muscle
back.
Yeah, definitely. obviously I gained it back. So it's not as if I added 5 kilos on top of my already 90 kilo frame. Now I dropped back down to about 8 in the 80s or something like that. Yeah, low 80s. So.
How long was your prep, out of interest, Jack? How long did you take it?
The prep for the PCA was 16 weeks.
Oh, okay, so 16 weeks. Time. Okay, cool. And so how did you find that? Was that any more difficult than the previous Get Summer Ready cuts? Was it more difficult? Did you get leaner than ever before? Or have you been that shredded and do you find it fairly comfortable to lose fat?
Well, when I did the Summer Ready, when I was Summer Ready, I was lean, but I'd sacrificed muscle tissue for it, I think.
Sure.
So I dieted down far too extremely. I think my calories must have dropped. They definitely would drop below 2,000 probably on. And then I was only doing sort of, my cardio was just a bit of walking every morning, that's all it was really. Whereas this time when I was prepping, my calories, they went below 3,000 during the last few weeks. But I was doing, my cardio is quite intense. It's not HIIT by any stretch of the imagination, but it's quite like interval based on the Stairmaster, so it's really taxing.
Grinding hours on your Instagram posts. So. That's interesting. So, do you feel that approach has worked? This is obviously a more in-depth topic, but I'm interested. I'm sure there's a lot of people that will be interested. Do you think that approach has worked better for you in terms of keeping food intake higher and doing more expenditure in the gym?
Definitely. I'd much rather eat more.
Yeah.
And not necessarily do more cardio, but sort of keep the intensity up with it.
Okay.
Like the cardio I do is pretty intense. Like I say, it's not something when I wake up in the morning, because I do it at a 24-hour gym. I do it at about 4:45 in the morning just to get it done. I fasted at 4:45 in the morning. And some mornings, especially like after leg day or 2 days after leg day, which is going to be tomorrow morning, which I'm not looking forward to. So doing the Stairmaster intervals, it's not fun. I think it lets you enjoy the rest of the day then if you're eating more. You know, like I love the meals I'm eating at the moment.
Cool.
I actually get quite depressed when I finish the meals. Yeah,
I think everyone does on prep.
Yeah,
right? You're just like, nah, I want more. What does your just quick roundup like? What does your approach look like in terms of? Are you dieting on sort of like a higher carb, lower fat, or a higher fat, lower carb approach? How does your nutrition look like?
I don't know what people's opinions will be of this, but I think for the PCA, the 16-week prep I basically went from 0 to 100 fairly quickly, and went completely keto. Zero, that is, and I mean 0 carbs. I think my carb intake was 20 grams a day, and that was all fibre.
Yeah, wow, okay, yeah.
And I did that for 16 weeks straight.
Okay.
No refeed in that time, no cheat meal. So that was the same ketogenic diet for 16 weeks.
Quick question on that front. Did you ever feel extremely flat at all, or not?
Not flat, really. I think with keto, your first 2 weeks is fairly grim, and then you sort of go through that fat adaptation sort of period. To be fair, my fat intake was very high. I was like 2 of my meals were like chicken salads, but on top of the salads there was like 7 teaspoons of olive oil. Yeah, but the only problem with that is not satisfying calories. I can tell you now. If you told me I could swap the calories from 14 teaspoons of olive oil to the equivalent of oats and protein powder.
Do it every day.
Yeah,
exactly.
Because that'll be about 5 bowls as well. Because oils are so calorie dense.
Yeah, it seriously would. That's interesting. I mean, obviously, I admire that in terms of your dedication, your willpower to just listen to these coaches, and they've got you in great condition, mate. So
the problem was they advocated a cheat meal once a week. They said to me, "You can have a cheat meal once a week. Don't worry about it." But building on upon the sort of giving up chocolate, and I've also like given up sweets and stuff like that. I'm a very boring individual here, but so I really like challenging myself, especially nutritionally. So like at the start of the 16-week prep, I said, "Do you know what? See how you go. No cheat meals."
Yeah.
I remember. I think that's what sparked it off. I saw a post by a bodybuilder, Jordan Peters, trained by JP. Yeah, I saw a post by him when I was considering having a cheat meal. I think it was at 16 weeks out. I was considering having a cheat meal and then sort of tapering them down. I saw a post by him saying how some bodybuilders are willing to eat dirt as long if it gets them that trophy, and you're whining about a cheat meal. He was saying it to his clients. But when I saw that, it really sort of
motivated the hell out.
Gave me a kick up the arse, and I thought, you know what, I've got the sort of willpower to do that.
Yeah.
So I thought, mate, just challenge yourself and see how long you go. And then I managed to do the 16-week. I did it all in 16 weeks, and I'm actually still I've been dieting now for 22 weeks. And I've had one meal off the diet, which was 2 days after the PCA, and I went. It was a steakhouse, so all it really was some steaks, some chicken, and a few. There was nothing bad there. Don't get me wrong, I crave burger unbelievably. I follow about 30 burger accounts on Instagram. And when I'm clicking through Instagram, eating my meals, it makes my meal look so awful. But it's almost like I enjoy torturing myself sometimes. But
yeah, that's interesting from like an adherence point of view. I think almost for you and a lot of people out there, this is why any time that I say flexible dieting is great. Like, it's great, but it's not great for everyone. Like, it could potentially actually hinder your fat loss.
Don't get me wrong, I don't advocate what I've done at all. Okay. It's definitely not for everyone. It's probably not healthy, to be honest.
Okay.
But and then as soon as I'm done with prep and competitions this year, I will go back to a more sort of flexible approach. But even the off season this year, because of the amount of food I was eating, 5,500 calories a day, I was going out for food sort of every third week. I didn't have any cravings,
You wouldn't, yeah.
This year I'm definitely going to make the most of it. Yeah. Because I missed out on so many opportunities during prep this year, so it'll at least be a once a week sort of thing.
I'm in total agreement with that. Like my last off season, I didn't make any opportunity. I was just like, no, I have to eat these meals. This is my structure. Yeah. I wouldn't go out. So
that's what I'd say to people: make the most of it when you can.
For sure.
Yeah.
Cool.
I think I'll definitely be going on a sort of around Wales burger trip to find the best burger joints. I think so.
Yes, man. I'm a huge lover of pizza, as people probably know by following my Instagram. So yeah, that's my thing that I missed out on, and now enjoying myself. So, rounding up that topic, what would your top tip for a teen that's really wanting to do a bodybuilding prep? So they're not just wanting to get into the gym; they want to do a bodybuilding prep. What would your top tip be for them?
I know a lot of people do it by themselves, but to be honest, you try. Even if you want to do the prep yourself, you do need additional eyes. Comes to the sort of last few weeks, because you're always looking in the mirror thinking, am I ready? But you need other people to assess. You don't have, that doesn't necessarily need to be a coach, even though I would say is a really good thing. It's helped me out loads. Just have people at hand, and it'll also help you just through the process as well. Having people with you, just so you're not completely isolated by yourself.
Yeah.
So yeah, I definitely say have another set of eyes.
At least, even if it's not a coach, like just have someone watching. Cool, that's great. So I'm conscious of we're at like 45 minutes now. We usually run for like 50 or so minutes. So we're going to briefly touch on a topic that I did want to get Jack to talk about, because he's a student and he's gone through a contest prep whilst being a student, correct?
Yeah.
Cool. So to an extent.
So,
to an extent. Okay, cool. So basically, like, I know there's going to be a lot of students watching this. I actually have a client at the moment called John, who will be listening to this, who is a student and doing exams and things like that, going through contest prep. So what would your advice be to people who are trying to balance contest prep with studying and other demanding things going on in their life? What would you say has been the biggest help for you in terms of balancing the two, like the training, the cardio, everything?
Well, strangely enough, I think I'm probably more productive when I'm on. So, for example, the weekend just gone. So I competed on the Sunday.
Okay.
On the Friday before that, I had 4 essay deadlines.
Wow.
And so I think I did them all in a month. So I was smashing out an essay in about a week.
Wow.
Okay. Because I was in such a routine. Because I'd get up, do my cardio, prep all my meals, and then I'd have sort of like a 3-hour slot to do work. Then I'd have a meal, watch sort of a couple of videos, click through Instagram, get motivated for the session later.
Yeah.
Then I'd be fully sort of refreshed, do another 3 hours, and then do it exactly the same again, have a meal, and then go to the gym then. So I was in such a routine that it just helped out a lot with work then. So I think that's the main thing, is sort of finding a routine that works best for you, and having that structure, because I think that will help you get it done.
Yeah.
Also, stress is a big thing as well. For some reason, I'm really good at it. I don't let anything stress me out, just because at the end of the day, it's not going to help anything, is it?
Good man.
So, just relax about it, put your head down, get it done. As long as you're doing, I know it sounds stupid, but as long as you're doing everything you can, then what more can you ask,
I think those 2 points are absolutely bang on, and I think that a lot of people stress out too much. I think, honestly, the people who get the leanest and look the best on stage, have the most muscle retention and the best condition, are the guys and the girls that just chill out and enjoy it.
Just chill out about it, Don't
genuinely.
Stress ruins physiques.
Yeah,
definitely it does.
It ruins them. Yeah, like no matter how much you try and mitigate it, like it does really impact your prep, fat loss phase, whatever. Massive pro tips there. So thanks for them, Jack. Finally is I'd like to basically get people to know where they can find you and how, if they want to basically contact you for any sort of messages or advice or anything like that.
I'll definitely be keen for that. Yeah.
Shoot however they can contact you, and also shoot all your social medias as well, anything that you're active on.
Probably the most active, if not too active, on Instagram. That's Jack Thorburn 2.
Okay.
So that's Thorburn.
Okay.
Jack Thorburn 2. Facebook's just Jack Thorburn. That's about it really. I hate Twitter. I've got it, but there's no point in following me on it. So Instagram and Facebook really.
Cool.
If you anything on Facebook, keen for that, or even on Instagram through direct message or anything like that. Yeah.
Okay, wicked. And finally, what what's going on for the rest of the year? Obviously, you're still dieting at the moment. What can viewers or listeners to this look forward to seeing in the future for Jack? Like, what's in store for the rest of the year?
I was lucky enough to win the junior class on Sunday.
Yes.
So as soon as I got off stage, I realised, oh great, it's another 12 weeks added to the diet. So it'll be a total of, I'm 22 weeks deep into it now. So it's going to be 34 weeks of dieting. So I got that coming up now in 11 and a half weeks, just over 11 weeks now, the BNBF finals in Perth, Scotland. So really looking forward to that. I already scouted out the burger joint closest to the theatre. It's only a 7-minute walk away. So I've got all that sorted. That's sort of what I'm working towards now. So I've got about 11 weeks for that now. So anyone that follows me on social media then will see sort of the prep leading up to that. So I'm quite active on Instagram. I like to put out the content because I don't. If you've got an Instagram, use it. There's no point in not posting pictures. Fair enough if you want to just look through other people's pictures, but I like to keep sort of active on there. So a minimum of one post a day.
Yeah, good man.
So
Be consistent with it. So that's great, awesome, and I'll hopefully, fingers crossed, I'll be at the British finals also, so I'll get to meet you in person.
Hopefully I get to meet you. It'll be good, mate. Really good.
So thanks very much, Jack. I appreciate you staying for this and staying up and getting this done.
It's a pleasure, mate. Thanks for having me anyway.
Yeah, no worries, Jack. Thanks very much, guys, if you've hung around to listen to the full episode. We will catch you in the next one. So it's bye from me, and I'll let Jack sign out. See you later, guys.
Yeah, thanks for listening. Cheers.